Well, good morning, everybody. We are back. It is Guido coming at you from the left side of the Atlantic with my coffee, French roast.
And it's Pilgrim on the correct side of the Atlantic with his Royal Blend tea in his original Guido mug. Cheers.
Excellent. Cheers. Cheers to you. Welcome back, everybody. That's it's not carpentry. it's it's a loud coffee shop.
It's a lot of banging.
A lot of banging around. A lot of bang. It's really early for all that banging around, my friends. Really early
Absolutely.
for all that banging around. We are back. So, did it take me leaving for the floodgates to open and for World of Tanks just to lose its mind?
I think it did.
I mean, what the heck is going on?
I don't know. I mean, the world just collapsed and turned upside down. The whole of the world.
It's just the changes, like the rapid fire Crew 2.0, field modifications, 1.14, Frontline has tier 9s. What, I mean, goodness gracious.
You need to stop going on vacation.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
It is, yeah.
I'm not saying it was me leaving, but maybe it was me leaving. I don't know.
Well, it's an option. It's an option, isn't it?
Wayne says the beginning of the end. Oh, is it the end times? The sky is falling.
Well, we've already had the plague, haven't we? So all we need is the frogs now.
The second sign of the second coming is first it's a plague, and then it's some random video game has a lot of changes. Is that?
That's the one. That's the one. It was written up some 2,000 years ago.
Cliffy, Stickler, Wayne, just around midnight, and Aussie Bushranger, welcome. Hey, what's going on, Australia? How's everybody out there? And Heisenberg's in.
Cool.
Heisenberg he's just here to register his displeasure for Crew 2.0.
That's a one-liner. He's gone now.
He's out. I don't know. Maybe the pandemic is the plague. I don't know. Maybe World of Tanks is the plague. If you listen to the forums and all the screaming and crying.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Aussie Bushranger. You got me with Aussie Bushranger. I know we do have an Aussie or two around here.
We do have a couple of Aussies because I keep getting called a pommy, something or other. So yeah, we definitely got some Aussies. Bloody
people keep calling Pilgrim names. All right. Well, let's see. Channel news. What's going on? Well, I'm obviously back from vacation, which I had a fine time. Showed a couple pictures last stream yesterday. I won't bore anybody with those details, but saw lots of animals, did a lot of hanging out on the porch, and it was good. We had a good time.
Did you, as an aside, did you see any hummingbirds? Because you got the moose in.
Only 800 million hummingbirds.
Is that all?
So my buddy comes up. He's a retired Navy diver. He comes up, and he cannot stay still. And this guy can fix just about anything. So my mom puts the hummingbird feeders out, and we got a big wide porch, and there's all these hooks, and we can get like 8 or 10 of the feeders out at one time because it's a big porch. So he finds all the hummingbird things and starts cooking up, and it's just water to sugar, 1-to-4 water sugar. But you boil it up, and you boil the sugar into it, and then so he fills up like 8 of these damn things. And halfway through the day, there were probably 20 to 30 hummingbirds. It was just combat. It was just BFM. It was like the Battle of Britain. BFM. They're like meow, meow.
Well, absolutely. You know what? Awesome. I'd die to be able to be in a place and watch that sort of stuff going on. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. There's a little red one. His a species called the rufous. We're looking up in the book. And just an aggressive little git, and he decided to guard one of them. And the best fun was watching this one little red hummingbird chase off every single one of them that tried to get to his.
Yeah, did it have muscles like this? It was like doink.
It was absolute chaos. It was 100% chaos.
Aussie's all about getting them drunk.
Yep. My buddy was talking about that because down here in Florida, it goes sour faster. I mean, it's nice and dry. It's nice and dry up in Utah, so it lasts a little bit longer. But down here with the humidity and the heat, it goes off faster. Yeah, absolutely. I was,
These are visions of drunken hummingbirds. I mean, they're no longer hovering, but sort of like dropping like this.
Well, we have a kind of holly tree here along the side of the house, and it has little red berries. And I want to say late summer, early fall, when those berries finally ripen and fall off, they ferment. And there's an absolute bird party on the side of my house every year. Like, they are squawking. You'll find some of them walking on the ground, falling. It's awesome.
Yeah, you know, like you get these like superb nightclubs that are world famous.
Yeah.
I reckon that's the bird equivalent. Guido's back garden is the world famous bird nightclub.
Yeah, it's the Holly Bird Festival.
yeah, fantastic.
Wayne, if you could actually eat a hummingbird, like, I don't even know how you would do it. They are made of nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, they are made of air and fairy dust. They're so small, it's crazy. Anyway, enough about the hummingbirds.
Yes, where were we?
You have to eat a dozen. Yeah, they're going to be like poppers, though. You'd have to just bread the whole thing and throw it down.
Yeah, yum.
Next stream should be tomorrow, guys. I'm planning on it anyway. We should also have the stack up stream in the afternoon, so expect it. I'm hoping around 10 or 11 tomorrow for a couple 3 hours. Coaching is still available. I'm still working the podcast thing. I probably have a new allotment for the month, so I should be able to upload 1 or 2 of these. We did talk about maybe deleting some and seeing if I could kind of keep the free thing rolling, so we'll try to upload this one at least to Buzzsprout. And that's pretty much it. Remember, Guido Grind. That's my code, my invite code. Should be working again, actually. That's been worked on. So there you go. Anybody who's looking to start a new account, I don't know why you would, but if you did...
you might start a new account because you've heard about Crew 2.0 and the fact that you can watch Guido grinding. Hey.
Well, yeah. Yeah, is 2.0 going to bring everyone back? I don't know. We're going to talk about that later. Missions and specials. Let's get our shill on. Hold on. Here we go. There we go.
There we are. There we are. Blue light specials on the way.
Why does my Chinese piece of junk require a smack to get going every time?
Because it's sold to an American. They don't dare do that to the British.
Jeez. Terrible. Thing is terrible. All right. Wargaming's birthday. Did you guys know it was Wargaming's birthday?
Didn't.
You did it on Saturday, unless you looked in the missions. And then Friday, I guess. Yesterday late, they finally put the article out. And so there's some missions to be had. But let's shill first. Should we shill first?
Yeah, let's shill
let's
first.
go
Let's
over
get
to
that out of the way.
Not a whole lot going on with that. A couple tanks for sale that are interesting, I think. There's Chrome. There we go. All right. Okay. Oh my goodness, that was difficult. Here we are. Time to shill. Featured. What do we got?
Not a lot.
These are not all of you are going to see this, but the FV4202 is out there for, I think, Prime Gaming. So also Prime Gaming is out. Yeah. So claim that if you have Prime Gaming. Make sure you go claim it. There's no commander involved this time. There's just a couple ×5s and some food of some kind or something. The Action X is involved in that, as is the Panther, and I think the Sturv. Although I've got some other stuff in here because it looks like I've got the Canonin STA2. Oh, these were out already. This I don't know what brought these out. Do you have these, Pilgrim? The Canonin?
No, not where we at? The vehicles?
Yeah. No, we're in featured.
No, I've got virtually nothing in featured. I'll tell you exactly what I've got in featured once I get it back up again. I have the 30 days Watt PA and the T45, a bit of everything, personal reserves, and the million credit bundle. Bust. I've got nothing else in there.
Really?
Yeah. So I think whatever you're seeing is either the veterans stuff.
Yeah, so that's all. Yep,
Prime,
that's all veterans or Twitch Prime right there. So that, because I've got the IS-3A, 1357, yada yada. So for everybody else, we'll get to the vehicles in just a second that everyone can see. Not much going on in the gold. There's a couple decent starter kits. If one of the dozen of you or so that are watching doesn't have premium, those are always nice for a weekend of gameplay. I mean, $5 for 3 days and some gold. That's pretty cheap, really, at the end of the day. I mean, what are you going to spend on a movie, for goodness sake?
Exactly. You know, it's an Apple TV subscription, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
For want of a better thing of comparing it against, but yeah.
Yeah. Premium time, standard. All right, let's take a look at the vehicles then that pretty much everybody can see. We've got the Su-130 going on with the Altai Fox 3D style.
Skins, yeah.
I don't think you can get it without the style, so you're going to pay out the nose for the style. Nope, you can right there. So it's $44
Right.
for just the tank. So you can get it without the style.
I personally, I don't know how you would class this particular TD, but I rate it slightly better than the Scorpion G.
Yeah.
For some odd reason, but yeah, it's slightly better than the Scorp. I mean, I used to love the Scorp G, but it feels like something's happened to it, and they got this that came out, and I feel this is a little bit better.
I still like the Scorp G a little bit better, but I will say that they fixed the deal where you zoom in on the non 360 turrets, because that was always very frustrating with this tank. Because you'd zoom in, you'd be looking this way, your gun would be that way, and you try to zoom in, and now you're looking here. So now you can actually zoom in where you're looking. So that makes it a little bit easier for me to maneuver and do my zoom in, zoom out kind of stuff. So I don't know, I'll have to try it again. It's a credit maker, you know.
Yeah.
Got good pen, good alpha. You have to play it carefully, which means you should get some shots in before you get taken out of the game. So there you go. The Borosk. The Borosk is out. Very good medium tank.
Yeah.
It's like a wheeled tank with tracks.
It is, isn't it? That's a good description, really. That is probably the most apt description. A wheeled tank with tracks.
I mean, it can get tracked. That's that is the weakness over a wheeled tank. It will get tracked because obviously it has tracks. The Defender, still a solid heavy. Nothing much very exciting about it, but very forgiving if you're a new player, because it will just bounce stuff whether you want it to or not.
Yeah.
Just
some good packages. I don't know what the price point breakdown would look like.
For what?
But I mean, for the Defender packages, you got the war chest.
It's $43 for just the tank. It looks like, so that's not bad.
Oh, okay.
34.3 is out. That was recently buffed. I kind of like that tank. I don't know if it's worth 44. What else is going on with this? 44 for just the tank? Really?
Nothing else.
Hold on. Why is it $1? How is this $1 more expensive than the Defender? Are they kidding? There's something else here? No, there's the tank, a slot, and a crew.
Yeah.
Well, that's...
Seems a lot of money for that, doesn't it?
What? You have to be kidding me. It's $1 more for the T-34-3. Now, it does have preferential. Is that what they're pricing it?
Wow.
This has always been cheaper than... I've never seen a medium more expensive than one of their more popular heavies, or I've just missed it. It's not very usual, I don't think. That's $1 more.
Yeah,
that's bizarre. Well, there you go.
That's with a discount. That's a special offer discount. So work that one out.
Well, they both can use a coupon. They can both have a coupon.
Oh, can you use coupons on
Yeah, you can see the little coupon symbol.
Oh,
right
yeah,
there.
okay, yeah, you can.
So if I use a coupon, what does it bring me down to? I have a 20% coupon. Gets me down to $35. It's better.
It's more like it.
Still $1 more expensive than this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going on about that, but that's a little bit surprised. It's the standard act with their pricing. Sometimes it's just all over the place.
Indeed.
You know what I mean, guys? Isn't their pricing just all over the place? We've talked about it a bazillion times.
Yeah, it's made up by one guy is in room 6 and another guy's in room 8 and there's another one in room 15 and they all just make the prices up as they go along. So
the points are made up and they don't matter. Is that how it went on that old TV show?
That's the one. Thorus is in the house. Good name, Thorus.
Doris, what's happening? All right, so you can buy just the skins. If you go over to the specials, if you're looking for just 3D skins, that's where you'll find those for the Barask and for the Su-130 right here. Also, I think these were on the ones that were on sale on RU that we talked about several weeks ago.
Yes.
When we talked about how we were surprised we didn't get to see them. Excuse me. A little
No
verklempt.
excuse.
A little verklempt. Hope I didn't catch the Rona on the airplane. So here they are.
Around.
Now, if you want to know what they look like, I was looking at this going, why does Wargaming, when they sell skins, like, go up here, it just, they do this, I think, so you don't think it's the tank. I mean, that's the trick.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
But it seems like they could do some other kind of thing that gives you a
Yeah.
better idea of what the skin is, or,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
this is going to apply a little bit to something we're going to talk about later, and I know we give Wargaming heck about some of these things like this, but really, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? At some point, the consumer has to pay attention to what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Because I would say, I mean, when you start putting your hand in your pocket, you actually know, you want to know what's happening, don't you? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and you know, you have to do your due diligence. You know,
Yeah.
there's a line between just crap UI and not giving enough information, and you didn't pay attention. You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of hard sometimes, I think. Anyway,
Yeah.
anywho, if you want to know what these look like, my point of this whole thing is there is a little thing you can click on, and there you go. Now you can get no kidding the view of what these styles look like, and they're I don't know, whatever. I mean.
Well, they are to taste, aren't they? I mean, you know, a chest of gold on chains on the back.
Is she throwing up, or what's going on here?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I struggle with comedic 3D skins. I like 3D skins that are relevant and applicable to tank warfare.
Yeah.
But when they're putting surfboards and chests of gold and Thor's hammer on there, you're like, okay.
What about the largest studded club known to man?
Well, yeah, there is that, isn't there? I mean, no, not really.
How? That is a large club right there.
Yeah, but he's a Viking. He can heft that, can't he?
Isn't this
Of
a
course he
woman
can.
though? I think it's a.
Is it? Get out. He's
Looks
got a
like
beard.
a woman.
What women do you know have got a beard more than you?
I can't see the beard. Is there actually a beard?
Yes.
Oh.
Unless she's very hairy.
Oh, there's a Viking guy. On this side, there's a Viking guy.
Okay.
But that shield,
Okay, all right. Yeah,
that shield
yeah.
is 200 millimeters of spaced armor right over the hatch. So that's what that
Do you
does.
think?
Yeah,
You think?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, we'll go with that. Just all the more reason to buy it then.
Oh man. So anyway, those are the styles that you can get.
Yeah. They're cool if you like them.
What are they? Holy crap, Aroni! Did you see the price point on it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's disgusting, isn't it? What's it in dollars? It's £18 sterling for me.
Oh my goodness!
What's that? $25?
$23 and a half.
$23. That is a lot, isn't it? For pixel skin, it's a lot.
Wow. Aren't there? I mean, we've been commenting on them being $17 and $18 before.
Yeah,
These are $24.
and they don't do anything other than make the tank look pretty.
I'll tell you something. People are buying them.
Well, there must be.
They have to be.
There must be. Yeah.
I mean, would they sit there and make them and go through the trouble of putting them in the store all the time if they weren't selling a couple of them along the way?
Yeah.
Somebody's.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm very cynical about 3D skins because it seems like money for old rope, and I'm quite sure there's a lot of work to actually get them, whatever, into the game.
Did she say money for old rope?
Yeah. Just does feel that way.
We didn't have an episode colloquialisms with Pilgrim.
Yeah, money for old rope. Yeah.
All right. I find the English have a lot of really good sayings and colloquialisms for English. Obviously, since English is their language, but
Get away.
well, there are though. I mean, honestly, that is part of it, right? Because it is the language, and it's quite an old language in the islands. So there's a lot of these kind of sayings that have grown up through the years, you know.
there's loads. I mean, and it's very localized as well. So if you're for the northwest of England, if you're in Liverpool, my hometown, for example, there's loads of words that's used that people have no idea. I mean, the police in Liverpool are called busies. And the busies are on the way. And, if you say that outside Liverpool, people look at it and go, what the F is a busy?
Yeah, yeah.
And then, there's another one, which is the word for old-fashioned in Liverpool is antwacky. Ah, that's antwacky, that is, mate. And you're like, if you spoke to anybody outside Liverpool, they'd be like, what's he? Hey, them busies are wearing antwacky jackets,
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what the effing hell is he talking about? And so, I mean, you can go to any district. You go Yorkshire, you go to Newcastle. Newcastle's worse because it's way out, man. Who'll have a little fishy on a little dishy and all that sort of nonsense up there.
Yeah.
And down south in London, of course, you've got the Cockney boys who are a little bit like this, I'll give it Sam. Talking names, chicken and chips and gravy is in the house, and that is the best Twitch name I've ever seen.
Chicken chips, and gravy all together?
Yep, that's nice.
Let's see, catch up on chat. Aussie be back in a few. Good morning, Special K. Welcome. Good to see you. Chicken, chips, and gravy. Hello, how are you? Welcome. Welcome to Coffee Talk, man. We're just talking about tanks and other things and whatever comes to mind, to be quite honest.
Stickler's got a question for you.
He does.
Yeah, he has. I've just got to scroll back a bit. It's about he's got bonds enough for a 121. Is it worth it? He says.
I think so. Does he have the M60? M60 might be a little better. It's not, so the 121 Bravo is not overpowered by any means. It was recently buffed, so it is much more comfortable, I would say. I like the 121. Now, I'm a collector, so I used my bonds and bought all those things. So I bought the M60, I bought the 121 Bravo, and a couple of things in there. I'm really waiting for the next, tier 10 reward tanks that get chucked in there. Hopefully they do that at some point. So yeah. I like the tank, actually. It's a little bit closer to the Soviet hover mediums because the gunfire's faster. Whereas the 121 has that big boomstick and it's relatively slow reload. Although that's actually been improved as well. Fairly recently it fires a bit faster. But the 121 Bravo feels a little bit more like kind of in between really the 121 big stick and the little Pew Pew T62 430.
Yeah.
Or 140, not 430, because the 430 is more like the 121. Although the 430 is, I think, better than the 121 because it just has better armor.
Yeah. It's just slightly more bouncy, isn't it? Grumpy Old Man says hello to you. Hello, a fellow hometowner, he says.
Where's that? How did I miss that?
Just slightly below Aussie Bush Rangers talking about coupons. Have you got it? Grumpy Old Man.
Oh, is that way back here?
Back here? Go back.
How am I missing that? You're going way back. Grumpy Old Man. What's happening, man? Well, which hometowner? Panama City or Utah?
Yeah.
Either way, my friend. Welcome. Hello. Yeah, my problem is. Stop it. My problem is when I've got Chrome up, I can't see the chat as well. I need another screen, actually. All right, let's go back to shilling. Should we get back to shilling?
Should we get back to shilling? Because we haven't quite finished, have we?
No, we haven't. All right, so that's the premium shop stuff. Let's see. We've got World of Tanks birthday. What is this it? No, that's not it. Birthday, here we go. So we've got some discounts and missions, guys, for the birthday. You take a look, 50% off tier 2 to 5, tier 6 to 7 is 30, and then tier 8 is 15% off. That's going to be from tanks that are in the tech tree that you can purchase for gold. So a little bit of a discount on those. There are some missions, and it's pretty standard stuff. There's a day of premium. Some of these can be done multiple times. There's some personal reserves, some kits, more personal reserves, and some food. Really, usually this is a bigger deal, isn't it?
Yeah, normally there's. I think because they've got things like Battle Pass running in the background, they've got you know, they've got an awful lot on the go that you can get stuff for free.
Right.
I think this is fairly muted in so much that, you know, they're not going to make a huge splash of it. Like, normally they would have a garage change, and it'd be a huge birthday celebration.
But is that the Watt birthday? This is the Wargaming birthday. Remember, there's the parent company birthday, and then there's the World of Tanks birthday, which I think is later in the year.
Yeah.
September or something. Is that right? Something like September.
And I don't suppose it's a milestone year. It could be an in-between year. It's not 20 years. It's not 10 years. It might be, you know, whatever it is.
So there's some goodies for those missions in any event, guys. The code from, you know, what's her name? Commander AF, that person, is Cat's Meow, CATSMEOW. So
now,
Cat's Meow.
You would think that would then be applicable to some form of tank rental that is to do with cats, but it's actually not, is it?
What is it? I didn't even look at it.
Is it not Hetzer? Is it not the Hetzer?
No, it can't be the Hetzer. That's not a premium.
No, it's not, is it? No, it's not.
Yeah, I failed to look at it, folks. I don't remember.
I could be wrong, actually.
What is it?
What the?
Let's find out what it is.
G-Saw. That was it.
There it is, G-Saw. Yep, it's the G-Saw 1008.
Right. Which is
there you
nothing
go.
to do with cats.
That is nothing to do with cats, Pilgrim.
It's not a leopard, is it?
It's not a leopard. It's not a puma.
No. No,
it's not a tiger.
No. Talking big cats. Talking big cats. We went to the zoo yesterday for the very first time with our granddaughters.
Yeah.
And it's the first time they went to the zoo. One's 3, one's 5. So, you know, they're sort of like compass mentis when it comes to things like that. So it's worth taking them, you know. And
that means free for all you other people out there.
Exactly, yeah. You get in on a family ticket, but you don't pay for it. Yeah.
Like a proper jock, he doesn't want to pay for anything.
If it comes free. Yeah. What's that? What are you saying? We don't.
Skinflint. Anyway.
Yeah, and you would think, right, when they go in and they look at all the animals, some of them are fairly scary to a little girl of this height. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
The big old cougars, pumas, lions, and stuff. Not blink an eye. Didn't blink an eye on any of the animals. Alligators, snakes, pumas, screaming parrots, the lot. They're all fascinated. The one thing they ran a mile from was the little cage. Well, I say little cage, but like an open pen full of guinea pigs. They didn't want anything to do with the guinea pigs. It was like, no, these monsters called guinea pigs, ran away from them.
You never know, man. Kids, they just do that stuff. You have no idea.
You're like, what? Tastes like chicken, says Wayne.
Guinea pig.
Yeah. In fact, they used to be eaten. They come from South America, and they used to be a staple diet, didn't they, of the Mayan Indians? So, yeah, it probably does taste like
that and like capybaras, the big ones, the big guinea pigs. Goat in a zoo tried to eat my sister's dress when she was young. The stuff of a nightmare. So here's a weird thing. We're driving up to the cabin, and in the lower road, there's several cabins along the way. It's quite a narrow little canyon that you go up before you get up top, and it spreads out a little bit more, but there's some cabins along there. And we go up there and we look over, and there's a yard. I call it a yard, but they fenced off a section around the cabin, and there's probably 40 goats in it. And a guy sitting there on a lawn chair. I'm like, well, that's odd. I've never seen goats up here, but they have clearly stripped away everything, all the vegetation on that section. We drive on. Next day we come down because we're going to go down to Park City. They're still there. He's still sitting in the chair. I don't know if he left that night. No idea. Probably a 12-pack of beer next to him or something.
Yeah.
Third day, he's gone. And there's a sign. And come to find out that this is a business. So the guy who owned the cabin had hired the guy to bring the 40 goats up. They put a temporary fence around, and the goats just ate everything to clear it, I guess.
So, like, it's like a lawnmower, but it's green and saves the planet.
Now, what I couldn't... It looked like a fire had gone through. They'd stripped it so badly.
Fantastic.
So I don't know what the purpose of it was, because it was mountain foliage stuff. It wasn't like it was grass or weeds. It was just, I mean, there were some.
But he's speaking, I guess.
There were some grass and weeds and stuff, but there was also the low bushes that they stripped bare.
Right.
Yeah, and it was quite black actually. So I'm assuming the goat manure and piss turned everything black because it looked like a fire had happened. To be quite honest.
Wow. Yeah, I'm quite pleased that this whole story went that way, because when you said he was out all night and he was still there the next morning, I had a sneaking suspicion you were going to say he was of a certain religion and that were all his wives. He was going to go not 40 Vestal virgins, but 40 goats.
I'm gonna have to pull you over, and this is a family. Okay. It's a family show. Woo!
Well, you don't know, do you? You just don't know in Utah. You know.
Literally nobody was going there, except you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, cancel Pilgrim. Cliffy, exactly right. Yeah. If we
40 goats. I'm sorry.
If this channel just disappears, you know who caused it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, enough. Today's #1 goat talk. Oh my gosh. Internet, please. All right, fresh look bonus. This is the Prime Gaming. So if you have Prime Gaming, you need to go grab that. I don't know what's it called, package, I guess, or loot box, or whatever it is.
Loot box.
It will open up these missions. So there's some more goodies in here. Oh, you can actually get a rammer. Oh, look at this. You can get a rammer. That's actually pretty damn good.
Yeah, is it?
That I didn't realize that. These are not directives. These are the actual piece of equipment. Well. That's actually pretty good. Okay, so you got some of that stuff. You got Fresh Look, which is the standard one. This has got reserves and other stuff like that. The T100 LT is on track. What Salute is standard. Independence Weekend. Anybody know whose Independence they're talking about? Is this CIS? I don't know. Because when I first saw,
I don't know if CIS became independent of anything. What, you know?
Well, that's true. I mean, they kicked out the communists.
Yeah, that is that. But
well, in theory, they kicked them out, but they're all the same people, basically.
Yes. Well, I mean, look at the head of the. Anyway, let's not go there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Without getting into the good politics or bad of it, that's just a fact. It's the same. The same people are still running the country, to be honest. But
yeah, absolutely.
So they might have. I don't know. Do they have an independence?
There's no information, is there? There's nothing on whose independence it is. You would think it would say Independence Day 4.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What Cliffy is saying, when the USSR fell, they might be calling that independence. I don't know. Anyway, there's a weekend of it going on, so there you go. Which has more goodies. That's all I guess that matters. Wargaming's birthday. Here's the missions for that. We talked about that. So there's some goodies you can get out of that thing.
And the nice thing is they're fairly easy missions, aren't they? You know, there's nothing difficult there.
Yeah, you pretty much just play. Just play. It's going to happen. I mean, it's damage caused. That's actually quite a bit, 23,000. But you can do it 3 times. So you're going to get these all this stuff 3 times. Actually, there's it's coffee and cinnamon. Oh, it's rations for everybody. It looks like
rations, yeah.
For all the nations, for all my friends.
All my friends.
Yep, that's all the nations then. So, what's that? 3 times, so 6 food items for every nation. And if you don't use them, sell them because they're worth 10,000 each. All right, and we've got multipliers on track. We got 60 TP. That's the other on track. So you can go up the Big Lebowski line right there.
That has just come at the right time because I'm just about to purchase that. That's one of my on my wish list tier 10s, which I've done the grind for, but I've just never had the credits to spend. We'll talk credits later, but yeah, now I'm just about ready for that. That's cool.
Well, honestly, that's fine because in the future they can call it reunification weekend.
Yeah. Re-establishment weekend.
They give you, and we're back.
Yes. We went away very long, comrades.
And we're back.
In the background.
All right. Talk to me, Goose. We chatted a little bit about this. I don't know. I'm not really sure what's going on with this. Was there an article?
I haven't seen it, you know, but probably was a news article somewhere along the line.
I've been meaning to ask Goose what's going on with this. It's some kind of charity tie-in of some kind, and guys. It's only for the T-29. This I didn't realize actually. So that's the tank you play. I think it's his favorite tank, so that's why it was like that. And I don't know what the ultimate prize on this thing is, but anyway, it's ongoing. If you're a T-29 connoisseur, you might want to jump in on this and see what you can do.
I'm quite pleased the fact that it's being in the top 10 by experience earned in a T-29, which is even possible if you've got a whole enemy team of tier 8s. You know what I mean? You just in the T-29, you're going to be in the top 10. No matter what, you could just sit on the red line and you'd still be in the top 10 in the T-29. Yeah. So it's a good tank to choose.
So I'm looking at the articles and I don't see anything about Goose's thing. So I honestly I looked for it a little bit. I have no idea what the actual F is going on with that, to be quite honest.
The reactor is critical might have hit the nail on the head.
What did he say?
He said the Goose won the USO Name Your Challenge.
Ah, and then Wargaming NA failed to advertise it in any way, shape, or form. Is that what happened? I mean, apologies to them if there's an article, but I don't see one. I've gone back to that's the 20th. Well, maybe I need to go further back. Nope, there's the 16th. When did this thing start? Never mind. Maybe I have to go back a little bit further. Wait a minute. I may be incorrect. Frontline, Kursk, Fair Play. I don't see it.
No. To be fair, just around midnight, we have had 2.5 weeks off. Coffee talk where the audience is often more well informed than the hosts. That's the way we roll. We just rely on you guys to get it over. You know, why the hell are we doing the effort?
It was mentioned on What's Next. That's it. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The only way you know is you watched one of the What's Next 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
3 weeks ago? They did what, Cliffy? See, that's what I'm saying. There's no article. I don't see one. That just drives me crazy. Field mods, low tier recon. Yeah, nothing. Anyway, whatever. There you go.
Yeah, it's a secret.
Good luck with the secret Talk to Me Goose mission, whatever happened right there.
Don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess you got to think about it. On the one hand, USO has nothing to do with wargaming. Really.
No, they don't, do they? That's the whole point, isn't it? Yeah.
Just because the USO made a challenge and somebody won doesn't mean Wargaming necessarily has to. It's interesting that it's in the game. I don't know. They told us somehow. Some of us are in the know. There you go.
Yeah. But only selected people. Anyway.
That's enough shilling. Let's move on. Let's go to subjects du jour because we've got all kinds of stuff to talk about.
Do we ever?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's go to subjects du
Just better get some more tea in my cup. Here we go.
Yeah.
The old pot.
Recharge your glasses, my friends, because here we go. There's a marathon coming.
Really?
I believe so.
Wow.
That's what the blogs say. Not that I would have any information from Wargaming.
What's the tank?
Well, let's find out. Because it is, I think, where's the nation? There we go. Boom and boom. I believe it's probably Czech heavies. So this is the tier 7 one that you get from ranked, which I don't understand still, to be quite honest, why that was put in there, but it was. There should be a tier 8 Czech heavy. I think they're actually on the common test. You can play them right now.
Okay.
I believe they're in there.
Yeah, for the 1.14. Yeah.
Yeah, 1.14. So this is tied into that. So the scuttlebutt is the marathon will be the end of August, and we should hear by the 20th or so-ish is my understanding. That is zero information from Wargaming. I am not giving away any proprietary information because they haven't said boo about it. But
right.
That's not true. Apparently, someone told the blog.
Right.
Remember you got the official leakers, and you got the semi-official leakers, and then you have the leakers, and then you have the evil leakers. So, you know.
It's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got the
One of the inside source tells me. You get this in the royal family a lot. You get this a royal insider informed us that, and you're like, a royal insider, really? Okay.
yeah
What? Like the coachman who looks after the corgis? Yeah.
yeah. So you never know if it's the official leak, the semi-official leak, or the unofficial leak.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. It's just the leak, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
just the leak. Yeah. So we'll go with firm with that then. It's the Czech heavy tier 8.
Now we've been wrong about this before, though. I don't remember
We
which nation it was. We thought for sure it was going to be that nation's tank, but it was really a unrelated marathon
Yeah.
for some other premium that came out. So don't quote
Yeah,
me.
we will.
It's very possible. Who knows what the hell it is? More than likely, I'd say it's a tier 8 of some kind.
Yeah.
My assumption is Czech something heavy, I guess, because that's the line. But who knows?
Yep.
There's probably a marathon at the end of August, which
Well, I look
brings
forward to that.
yeah. So the next thing is this Championship International. I found this really fascinating. Kind of came out of nowhere because we'd heard nothing about this. Let me call up the article here for you guys. So this is interesting. Now remember back in the day there was WGL NA League or WGL League,
Yeah.
and then NA or
Yeah.
EU or RU, whichever region it was that the league, and then they would eventually have the champions play against each other. There's a 15v15 tournament with a prize pool of $154,700 US dollars. Now that's the whole pool, so that's going to be split out. Who knows what the top prize is? They didn't. I don't think they broke it out. Unless is this no.
I didn't see the breakout, but I did. I mean, jaw did drop when I looked at the actual amount of money that they're offering as prizes. Not
Yeah.
the individual prize, but yeah. I mean, it's 140 something thousand
Yeah.
dollars.
So there's not a lot of detail in this. Every oh, here we go. Every qualifier offers teams an additional prize pool of 7,500 euros. Okay.
Right.
It's 15v15. There's not a lot of detail here, and this is not a video, so there doesn't appear to be a video out yet for it on what's going on. So there's going to be regional qualifiers. Obviously, you're going to need a 15-man tournament. Doesn't even really get into how many, like, do you have 17 players? Because you should have a couple alternates, I think. But, yeah, there's just some kind of basic boilerplate conditions, things you sort of need to know. Because here's the big deal. The championship is in China.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Which,
Yeah.
so there's already been some posts on the NA forums, people doing the standard. I'm going to call it xenophobic a little. That's not xenophobic. I'm just, the whole I'm not going to China, blah, blah. Personally, actually,
Yeah.
I can't. But anyway, I can't. But
Yeah.
there you have it.
No,
Not that I would be on one of those teams that would be good enough to do it. But
No.
you got to be willing to go to China, essentially, if you're going to win. That's the big deal. Obviously, there's, look at this, mandatory quarantine. Period of the quarantine will be required. Each player will be accommodated in an individual hotel room, cannot leave. Man, that's perfect for gamers.
Yeah.
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 Go to China with your computer and play World of Tanks for 2 weeks or whatever the damn quarantine is.
You just know that your computer won't be infested with viruses afterwards that want to gaze into the inner workings of everything that the Western society is doing. There you go. Tin ball hat time.
You'll get 3 meals. It looks like it's like a jail term. I don't know, man. Costs covered. Issuance of a Chinese visa. What? Oh, visa. A visa. Okay.
Okay.
Obviously, you bring your own passport. Do they confiscate passports in China? I don't know. Travel
Well,
from
the occasion that I visited China, there was no passport involved. So I can't really tell.
You were on the pilgrim visa.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Travel from the country. So they'll pay for the travel. Airport and departure to player's country will be chosen by the WC. Oh, okay. But we'll take into consideration convenience. Okay. Accommodation in China, so they'll pay for that. Both for the mandatory quarantine, saying, oh, by the way, it doesn't tell you how long that quarantine is.
No. Is it 2 weeks? Is it 10 days?
Is it 5 minutes?
7?
I mean, what is it?
Yeah. It's dollar dependent.
Be able to provide travel document details and personal data necessary. Follow the get a Chinese visa. Bear certain visa expenses. So you're going to have to pay for that, I guess. Be ready to comply with all COVID-related restrictions. Means upon arrival, here we go. Transfer to a hotel to spend a legally mandated period, whatever that is.
Right.
Undergoing COVID testing as required
Yeah.
by the then applicable Chinese regulations. Oh, by the way, by the Chinese. That's your DNA, folks, by the way, in case you're wondering.
Yep.
Which they will then have. This is awesome. This looks like a really good deal.
Yeah. Doesn't it just? Yeah. What a way to go. I mean, out of all the countries in the world, they pick the one that is probably going to be the most intrusive into your personal life to go to do a tourney. And I guess there's people who will go. Of course there will be. You know what I mean? Cliffy was saying there he's got a college friend who works in Hong Kong and has to work on the mainland, so it's a 14-day quarantine each way for every 2-month hitch. 14 days each way.
14 days.
Wow. A whole month of your life you'll never get back.
Man. Yeah. 14 days each way. For every 2 months. He's done it 4 or 5 times. What do you mean 14 each way? So when you leave, you're going to wait 14 days to leave?
Well, now you go into quarantine when you come home, don't you?
Well, not here you don't.
No.
We don't do that.
No, in fact, we're getting to a point where we don't do that either because like 90% of the population have had a double jab now. So
Right, that's because quarantine doesn't work.
it doesn't.
It doesn't. they have the number. Again, we don't want to get into politics, but there are numbers in New York in big buildings where people were quarantined and they got it because it's in the air. It's in the air.
It's funny, isn't it? Don't tell everybody, but it's airborne. It's an airborne virus.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah, let's stop that.
Yeah, let's stop that. Yeah, so there you go, folks. I mean, doesn't that just seem very inviting?
The thing is, the hook is, the best players will want to be in the tournament. The best players will want to go forward to the finals. The best players, the best clans, whatever it might be. So people are going to sign up for it, irrespective.
Sure. Well, 100%. There's going to be people.
Nobody here is going to go.
Yeah, people aren't going to care.
No.
There's plenty of people that aren't going to care, and and really, to be honest, depending on what country you're coming from, it may not seem as egregious or.
Well, I was thinking Russia to China. They probably just walk across the border. They don't care, do they? Just like I did. Yeah, there's more than one way to get into China. Put it that way.
Yep. I mean, it would be really cool to visit. There's a lot of awesome stuff, history-wise, especially in that country. And from the cultural perspective, I've fully enjoyed my time in Korea, in Japan. Absolutely loved it, cultural aspect-wise. But I don't think right now I would step foot in that country and allow them to have control over me, the control over me that they have. Because once you're there, doesn't matter. Whatever your nationality is,
no,
they don't care.
No, and
much like our countries don't care, to be honest.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? I mean, give it that the British Embassy would send a representative to go and see you, doesn't mean diddly squat. At the end of the day, if the Chinese made you disappear, there may be some slight noise from some corners of the world, but you're just another backpacker that got lost.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, once you apply for that visa, they're going to scrub social media for you and see what's
Oh yeah.
Now it may be some low-level apparatchik from the party or some bureaucrat, and they may not care or dig too deep or whatever, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Their whole social credit score and all this crap. So
you know full well, being a veteran, I mean, neither of us can actually go there. Well, I can't go back anyway, but neither of us could go there. But yeah,
I haven't actually invaded them, so that you're.
I am a one-man invader of China.
No, I wouldn't be able to go there, 100%.
No, so and immediately we did apply for a visa. I mean, yeah, we would get scrutinised by both sides. I mean, you know, the good old MI chaps here would be all over me like a rash. Now, why do you want to go to China? Come and talk to us.
Yeah, I'll see. That's why I wouldn't go. Yeah, absolutely.
No, absolutely not.
All right. Anyway, there you go.
go.
I thought that was kind of fascinating that they've decided to do that.
Cool.
My question is, because they are going to be taking on Chinese teams, back to World of Tanks, of course. They are going to be taking on Chinese teams. Their game is quite different.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how that's going to go down. Will they be playing the Chinese version of the game or everyone else's version of the game?
Yeah, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Because they've got different tank values and different tanks as well.
Yeah, everything. Basically they do what they want. So some of it could be very similar or the same. So are they going to agree upon a certain version at some point, or how if our RU and EU and NA guys battle through in the version that's common to those three, and then they get to China, will be a different version?
Yeah, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? How that's going to be worked out.
Yep.
So I guess 71 AMC. Good morning to you all.
Hey, good morning, man. How are you?
Yeah, that would be that. Yeah, they would have to agree that, and the problem you've got is, I guess, for wargaming is that the Chinese will do what they want, so they may well insist that they play in the Chinese type game.
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
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 They sort of bull. Anyway, we'll see.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on it, man. Keep an eye on it. All right, moving on. Front lines. Who's ready for Tier 9 and front lines? You guys excited about Tier 9 and front lines?
Oh, no.
Has anybody played it in chat? I haven't been on the comment test, so I haven't done front lines Tier 9.
I haven't. I don't know if in chat they have.
Well, I play front lines, yeah. I'm trying to... I don't think it's necessarily a terrible idea. What I don't like is that it's tripped when you take the first, second level region, square, whatever, which means you're going to get to Tier 9s really quickly.
Yeah.
And it just based on that. Now, I don't have any experience with it, so I feel like, and back me up, guys, it seems to me that you're going to get into Tier 9s really quickly.
Yeah. Because this is the point we were talking about yesterday. I was quite pleased at the fact that there is a stage post, that it's not just going to be Tier 9s from the off. But then I didn't take into account how quickly they're going to be into the game, because to get to the second level is fairly easy. So within almost minutes, you're going to have Tier 9s throwing themselves in. Yeah. And that is going to be bad. That's going to be bad. If you're in a Tier 8, that's your game over and done with. It really is, I think.
Yeah. So Revan is saying... Yeah, Revan is saying they're still making credits. Aussie says lots of EBR 90s. Capture zone D, E, and F, then kill your tank, get a Tier 9, yeah. So, we'll see. We'll see how it breaks out. Pig's talking about they changed the consumables again. I don't remember what they did, but they've been futzing with those things for a long time. So let's see, man. I don't know. I don't know.
They've added, I think what Pig was saying, they've added some other consumables, and they've revamped some of the existing ones, I think.
Yeah, the landmines, I do remember them talking about that.
Yeah, putting a minefield out and all that nonsense.
So here's my take with this, and it's the same take as what's the other one? It's my same take as kind of Crew 2.0. No, Crew 2.0.
Oh, Crew 2.0, right.
And it's a larger meta take. My question always becomes, why did we do that?
Yeah.
Well, Guido, because we have to make better stuff. Well, you had a really good mode that people loved.
Yeah.
Like why did you not make a new map?
Yeah.
What was the purpose of adding 9s? Is it and of course we're going to get the they're just greedy, right? They don't want people to make as much credits. I don't know, maybe, to be honest, but I don't see. I don't know, man. I don't get it.
They, from personal experience, and when Frontlines kicks off, I go to my competition account on the EU. I have ran my competition account purely on the credits from Frontline in the past. I have made millions of credits. I think I'm already sitting now at 35 million on my competition account, which I did nothing to get other than play Frontlines. So I think overall, if you look at the biggest picture, World of Tanks worldwide, they've probably gone, we are giving a lot of credits away here. And people are not spending the gold they would need to, or whatever it might be, to get the credits from Wargaming, because they're getting them for playing Frontlines. So maybe as a worldwide thing, they've gone, we need to rein this back in a bit, and they've worked something out. I don't know. Is it a monetary decision? Only they will know, and they won't be telling us anytime soon, will they?
Yeah, I hate to go to that because it's the only thing that makes sense. I mean,
yeah,
literally, this mode maybe potentially might still be is. I don't know. We'll see when it actually comes out. The most popular mode they've ever created.
Yeah,
It was the only one that was close enough to the real game to have any staying power.
yeah.
And it was big maps, and there was freedom to move around, and you could do a lot of things that you couldn't do with fast tanks and things on that map. Now, I feel it's a little too fast tank specific, but whatever. There's a big city, and you can get your heavy and do your thing and that kind of stuff later on in the game anyway. And the assaults onto the initial points require heavies a lot of times. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But it was it was all one tier, which is a complaint with people. It's big maps, which is a complaint with people with a small map. It made money. You could make credits. I can't comprehend what brain synapse fired in some developer's brain that said, "Ooh, I know."
Yeah.
Because what have we actually asked for? Hey, how about Frontlines all tier 6, all tier 9,
Yeah.
all tier 7?
Yeah.
How about we just mix it up a little bit and do if you're cynical, you go, well, they don't do 9 and 7 because there's not a lot of premiums, and they won't make a bunch of money selling premiums for Frontlines. In the past, I would discount that a little bit.
Rentals, there's their money hook, if you like. They can do the FL rentals.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. There's just no tier 7s to do that with, though.
Well, yeah.
There's a couple, but tier 9, there's virtually none. Well, actually, there's no premiums. So the cynical guy goes, well, they don't do that because they can't make money. I'm like, well, okay, fair enough, maybe.
Yeah.
And that's just sad.
Well, I think we come back to this very point almost every coffee talk, is that at the end of the day it's a business, and if somebody makes a business decision, it's got nothing to do with the game. To be honest, it's to do with how do we maximize profits for the business, and how do we do that by altering the game in such a way, or the mode in such a way. And I think the ultimate decision, yes, they want to still create a game that's enjoyable and people want to play, and people will then put their hands in the pockets to play it, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's a business, and when they come down to it, it's what is the business model? What was the business decision on tier 9s coming on, and was it a financial decision?
Right.
You could your bottom dollar, it probably was.
So, Pig says they got confused. Many of us suggested tier 9 rank, so they added tier 9s instead. Lost in translation comment. I think there's something to that. So many things they do, to be quite honest, that's why I've switched back to the coffee shop. So many things they do, I find to feel like a committee's answer.
Yeah.
Right? They all got around like, oh, they want tier 9s, and then they started talking, well, how do we make more money and give them tier 9s? And then someone went, ooh, and then all of a sudden now we have tier 9s added on, and the reason they even started thinking about that was a request to do just tier 9s, and now we have this bastardized system. We'll get to Screw 2.0 in just a minute. It seems like the same thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
We really need to work on the skills and things, and the crew system's a little messed up. We haven't touched it for 8.5 years. Let's sit down in committee and create a new monster instead of just fixing in iterative improvements the thing we had.
Yeah. My question is, what's the trigger point to get Wargaming to change something? Is it the number of players' feedback? Is it a financial trigger point? Or is it a combination of various trigger points? Because
Right.
I mean, nobody goes into this blind. Nobody in a business like Wargaming goes, I know, we'll do this.
Sure.
There must be a trigger point somewhere along the line that somebody goes, right, this has become a concern. What are we going to do about it? So my question would be, what is the trigger point and how is it triggered?
Well, Wayne says it's money, and you can't discount that. Obviously, the bottom line here is they have a big company and they want to make money. So I don't begrudge that in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to get my rear kicked money wise.
Yeah.
And full disclosure for Guido as a CC, I get a lot of free stuff. So to be honest, my experience money wise compared to you guys more than likely is very different because I get handed a lot of tanks and I create content and all that stuff. But I still try to look at it as if I am spending the money. But it has to be money as a basis. But at the same time, you have to create a good game that players want to play. I think they understand that. It's a gaming company. They may not accomplish that exactly as we would like.
Yeah.
But I don't subscribe to the idea that they're just evil.
No,
I think that's kind of silly and not naive, but unsophisticated.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, I mean they're not just here to drain your wallets. They want to make money. They want to make a good game. I think whether or not they accomplish that is another question.
Yeah.
Because we've been critical. Sometimes they make really silly decisions.
Yeah.
So everybody's got some good comments down here. Let's catch up on some of this.
Look at the comments. Let's have a look at it.
Can't fathom what might make me come back. So yeah, and this is all tied together. This is why it's so crazy right now. The front line saying the Screw 2.0 and the update 1.14 field modifications. It's hard to break all those out, right? It's hard to take one and go, all right, let's deconstruct this one. How did it come about? What's going on? When they're all now interrelated, they're all coming at a really fast, rapid pace. They all affect each other, and it's hard to parse one out from each one and say, well, let's break this down and figure it out. And I think Pig makes a great point because it's one of my questions that I started with was, what's the point of this thing?
Yeah.
If I'm trying to bring players back, which one of these things makes a player want to come back? I don't know.
No.
None of them.
I think there is also that there's a slight nod of the head towards trying to get newer players. And especially I'm not being ageist here, but the younger generation are used to a certain form of gaming that comes with that package. Warcraft or World of Warcraft or stuff that comes with that type of package, and to make it more familiar to those sort of players, maybe that's part of the decision-making process.
If that's true, that is one of the biggest mistakes they've ever made.
Well, absolutely, but surely a small percent of that thinking is within the big scope of it. Surely it would be.
Well, yeah, I mean that's obvious. They brought in the MMO guys, and they brought
Yeah.
I used to say recently, it's been 6 or 7 years now, but these are people with experience in the industry doing games that are popular with the younger gamers. But I don't know why you would want to try to alienate your established base by trying to make it a more Twitch-based, more modern. Every time somebody says I want to make it a more modern game, I just cringe. Cringe. More modern games come and go. They're a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
The reason World of Tanks worked is it wasn't those games.
Yes.
You should be developing everything that isn't those games, because that's why your game worked. When you look at all the other games that Wargaming has attempted to make, they've attempted to make the game that you can get 10 of, and they failed because there's already 10 of those out there.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, it's almost as if they're taking a good thing and they know it's a good thing and they're trying to make it into not such a good thing. You would say cynically that's the way it's going to go, but I mean it's not, is it? But
yeah, Tragic said the current crew system is outdated compared to newer games and not intuitive. Well, I think that's BS. It is intuitive. It's pretty easy to do.
yeah, absolutely.
What's not intuitive is some of the crap. So it's not a case of me sitting here saying the current crew system is perfect. But it makes sense that you have a commander and you move a commander forward and you have a gunner and you have a driver. This whole idea of moving from 5 crew to 6 crew to 3 crew to 2 crew, that has to go away. 100%. I'm with you. That is an unintuitive part of it.
We've said that's a tweak. That's a tweak that's required.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a complete revamp of the complete system, ignoring the last 11 years of what people have been doing.
Yeah.
But it's not that.
I'm with you, Pig. I mean, I love Tragic. I disagree 100% with what she's saying. I don't think it. I can't figure out where that comes from, to be honest. And I think it's the company line, obviously here.
Yeah.
You know, the crew system's unintuitive, except that millions of players have been playing with it for 10 years, and it has been working.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And Commander AF's hit the nail on the head when she said, "I'm a new player and I'm just getting my head round the crew system, and now they're going to change it." So part of the game's interest for me was that it was complicated enough for me to want to have to dig into how the crews work, what's the best skills. I mean, the amount of research I used to do to find out what was the best skills for the commander or the gunner, you know, what is the popular choice, what are the top clans choosing.
But that's not going to change.
That's part of it.
None of that will change no matter what crew system you make. You still have to learn which ones are better than others, where they go, what number you need to put on it. Doesn't matter if you make it a 1 to 10 scale, a 1 to 100 scale, 1 commander, 14 commanders, 800 crew, 1 crew. It doesn't matter. There's a min-max system being built, and nobody's going to understand it when it comes out initially, and then people are going to start figuring out. There's no fix for that. Just because you made it different and you have a better graphic, it does.
Again, not knowing the inner workings, it is a decision that has come at the end of so much of whatever that Wargaming have sat around a table and discussed. And now they've put it out into the wild. Well, they haven't put it out into the wild, but now they've put it out there into the public. They're sort of obliged to run with it now. Because it would be such a big backtrack to turn around and go, we're not going to do Crew 2.0 now. We're going to do something else.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, once they sink a lot into these things, it's like a train. It's no matter what your opinion of it, it's coming, dude. I mean, this is not a case of me sitting here going, well, Guido has the answer and we're going to stop it. That's a pipe dream. This shit's coming in some form. Reactor, see you, man. Thanks for coming by. Have a good day at work, my friend.
Yeah, take care, buddy. You've just had a follow from Q Power.
Q Power, thanks, man. Welcome to Coffee Talk. Much appreciated. How are you? Good morning. We're just sitting here waxing eloquently, or not so eloquently, about everything. Really, we've kind of diverged in everything, and like I said, that it's all together. You can't really talk about one without the other right now because they're so close together. You know, and because they're so close together, the baseline reasoning has to be pretty similar, I would say. Yeah. Unless you subscribe to the theory that it's stovepiped in the company, and 3 or 4 initiatives have all of a sudden ran into each other and they're not talking. Possible.
Yeah.
Possible. I mean, I don't know. Probable. I don't know. That's speculation. I don't know how the hell the company works. I don't know. It does seem pretty stovepiped at times, with one hand not talking to the other. It's a big company. You and I have been in big organizations. We know how that works.
Yeah.
You know, one side's not talking to the other. Someone said on the forums, making it like an RPG where you tweak your character as you progress. Now you tweak your tank and commander as you progress. I think that's undoubtedly true. It's but you did that anyway. Yeah. Right, you put equipment on it. They gave you a little bonus. You had choices on equipment. You had choices on skills for crew. So let's. I was going to do a whole video on this. Let's break down the pain points on crew. Yeah. The pain points were, in my opinion, number one, skills that didn't matter. Right. So you had there were only a few skills that mattered. Yeah. Without getting too deep on that, that's going to happen again. Because there are going to be skills that are better. that will be figured out. But anyway, there were a considerable number that had languished. As one big example, the radio mechanism, game mechanic, looked like it was something they wanted to be a thing at the beginning of the game, but it doesn't matter. And you have skills that are useless attached to it. So either shit can the mechanic or flesh it out. But that doesn't have anything to do with making a brand new crew system, in my opinion.
No.
So skills
as a detailed example of that, the old skill where it highlights the tank that killed you for a further 2 seconds, I don't think that applies at all anywhere in the game.
Well, I think actually that's not true. I think that's a pretty good one because it gets you more assist. But it was wonky on how it worked.
Okay, yeah. What does it do for the team?
Well, there was something about you had to point at it or some shit.
Right.
You had to be pointing at it or highlighting it, or you know what I'm saying. So that was kind of silly.
Yeah. So anyway.
All right. So pain points.
Yeah.
The skill system needed work. Obviously, it languished for 8 years. Hadn't been touched, other than a couple things here and there. Oh, by the way, they can do that because they just changed intuition. So it's not like they don't know how to work on it and make it better.
No, exactly. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So intuition was made better. That should have been a process going on for 8 years. Number 2, the crews being 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All that garbage. Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Got to get rid of it. My fix to that would be make everything a commander, gunner, driver, loader, put the radio operator on the loader, and then redo the skills. Or just shit can radio skills and fold them into other skills that do similar things and on other guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
That goes along with fixing the skills. I think those are the 2 pain points that people had, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Unless somebody's got something else. I'm missing a lot of chat, guys. I apologize. Okay, roles instead of actual positions. I liked that I had individual guys. That's the RPG player in me. That I had a commander, these specific guys moved through. I think another pain point slightly was crews forgetting the tank they just did, so that they would people wanted to be able to drive more tanks with their crew other than premiums, which can use any crew. All right, so make a skill that's extra tank.
Yeah.
Right? So you can level them up in that skill, and now they get an extra tank you can pick.
Yeah. Of the same class, maybe.
I can think of a million. I can think of a million things where you keep the baseline.
Yeah.
The baseline system.
On the point of having a set number of crew, 4-man crew, I like that idea right the way through the line. So if you start at tier 1 in a medium, 4 crews progress forwards, right? But I think that I would have a different number of crew per line. So, for example, in artillery, you may have a 5-man crew, but it's 5-man crew all the way. In light tanks, it may not be a 4. Do you see what I mean? Rather than
the problem with that is the problem with that is the experience system. That's more or less what you're gonna get with the new system, even though it's one commander, because then you're gonna pick it's going to be about the skills and perks and not the crew members as much.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? So
for me, my whole thing is what I've done with my crews as well, is I've taken my crew from a tier 1, worked it all the way up to tier 10 by paying gold to transfer it into the next tank upwards.
Yeah.
Do you know
Sparky,
what I mean?
thanks,
so now
man.
I've got a 6 skill crews in tier 9 and tier 10.
Yeah.
And then I can flex them into the premiums. Great stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the only reasoning behind my idea of having that similar sort of level going all the way up.
Sparky, thanks for the resub. Well, so, but that ties into to one of the pain points or questions about how the XP system goes, because one of the big problems with having, say, a Mana Corps crew with only 2 guys is you have to stack so many skills, and then it gets exponentially harder. It's harder to get a competitive crew in a 2 skill or a 2 crew, 2-guy crew, than a 4-person crew, because they spread those skills out that are important. So they've got this weird mix of roles and crew members. Sometimes crew members, the commander, for example, in the Mana Corps is probably the best one. He's the radio operator, the loader, I think, the commander, and 3 or 4
Gunner.
of the important things.
No, you've got the commander and gunner, haven't you? Or is it commander and driver in the Manticore?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I think you could add instructors to the current system as well. But
Right,
you know
yeah.
what? So that's all. But that's all piston in the wind because it's not gonna. It's not gonna be the old system. They have sold their soul. This is happening.
It is happening. I mean, there is part of me which is saying, okay, this is where it's going. Give me the lowdown. Give me the info. I'll go and research it and work it out. So when it actually comes out, I'll be a little bit ahead of the game. Now people say, well, go and do the sandbox or go and do the comment test or wherever it's at. I don't particularly want to do that. What I want is a list from Wargaming, a nice little simple list that Pilgrim can understand, saying this is how it's going to work. Learn it now, so when it does come into the game, and I know it's still under work, so it could change, but here's the basics of what it's going to look like in a nice simple pictogram that I can understand.
Well, and the huge problem then from the player base from 2.0 and Reactors Critical, is that who it was? I know chicken chips and gravy. And I read this as well that he posted here from Watt Express. Crew 2.0 is an unresolved issue. It is easier to lose all the drawn pictures than the audience. Well, that's a fact.
Yeah.
But this is funny. But it will simply be completed and released anyway.
Yeah.
These are always translation issues with these things. So that may not be exact. You know, the way it came off in English. Although I think the general idea of it is basically true, right? They're like, well, you know, we could shit can it if we were going to lose all our audience, but we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah. It becomes a law of averages or a law of depreciation, doesn't it? It becomes, okay, how much do you think we're going to lose percentage-wise by doing this? Oh, we're going to lose this percent. How much are we going to gain? We're going to gain this percent. Okay, let's go with the gain then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's a basic business decision.
Well,
the gain outweighs the loss.
So they're looking for some other stuff too. That they're trying to increase the top end of the grind, which I'm not necessarily against, because it expands the game. But if you're me, you've reached the end of the game.
Yeah.
Like I've unlocked everything. I'm still making better crews. I have found my own goals. The Hunter Battle Challenge, as an example.
Yeah.
I do missions. I want to get new tanks if the premiums come out, marathons, things like that. But overall, I'm not grinding anything, so it does make a little bit of sense. The problem they have with that, of course, is the complaint that once they do this and they increase the grind, now all people who had perfect, as you mentioned earlier, Pilgrim, and everybody else has been talking about, you have perfectly competitive crews, and I know Quickie talked about this, all of a sudden they're not.
Yeah.
And if you want to make them... Is that a bee? What the hell is that?
It's a hornet.
Getting attacked.
It's a hummingbird.
And then they've built this mechanic by which you can pay to get your crew to 80.
Yeah. Well, that's the next question. Will there be premium commanders with 80 points available for cash?
Exactly. Yep.
There we go. I mean, if that comes out, then pretty much what we've been talking about has been verified, hasn't it? It's been, it's a monetary decision.
Yeah.
If they do that. I mean, I'm only saying that, and we've discussed this in the past, I'm only saying that because World of Warships has commanders you can buy with ships. That are fully skilled up. So, it happens in a different section of the same company.
Yep.
So, yeah, I know. There's a lot of talk here. Field mods. I mean, we'll get on to that, but there's a lot of talk. Field
mods is tied into it because it's kind of the same idea. It's expanding the grind on the vehicles, not just the crew. So maybe that's the common thread here with all these changes is expanding the grind both in crew and tanks, and there'll be a painful transition process as people try to figure that out. Somebody mentioned it earlier. I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was, but redoing my crew is going to be a nightmare. It was bad enough with equipment. Right. Trying to figure out the new crew system, and then here's the best part because they've actually mentioned this. There's really going to be no grace period. Once you do it, it's over, and you're going to be spending gold to redo it. So if you F up your crew, because nobody's really going to know what the meta build is going to be. Yeah. We can sit here and wax poetic about, hey, we need new skills. We need, they need to work on the crew system, blah, 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 blah. We need more options. And at the end of the day, there's going to be 5 or 6 correct options, period.
Yeah.
There's only so many stats in this game that matter.
Yeah.
To be honest, right? Accuracy, speed.
Yeah.
What are they? Accuracy, speed.
Observation.
Yeah, view. Yeah, view and camo.
View and camo.
Would you guys agree with that? Accuracy, speed, view, and camo. There's soft stats and things that apply to those, but I think that's the 4 big ones: accuracy, speed, view, and camo. Boom.
Yeah.
That's the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. To some extent, armor and hit points, but maybe if you wanted a 5th one, armor and hit points. Let's just chuck that in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meaning turret armor, right? Meaning turret armor.
Turret armor. Yeah. Yeah. In a nutshell.
There you go. I've just coined a thing. Accuracy, speed. What did I say? Accuracy, speed, view, camo, armor, and hit points.
Yeah. There you go.
That's
the game.
If your bonus isn't affecting those, it probably doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
there's a point that Pig's making there about not just trying to tanks still don't have equipment a year later, and I'm very much the same. I now have probably I've got nearly 300 tanks, and I probably play 20 or 30 of them. The rest just sit there, and I don't even put equipment in them because at the end of the day I'm not using them. Which I know it's crazy, but I don't. So if I have to go and play one of those things, I have to go and then stick equipment in it. So when it comes to the crews, I will probably only focus on 20 or 30 tanks and crews. I just won't bother with it.
Just around midnight's a firm believer in relaying and grousers. I can't argue that, my friend. You're right.
Yeah, you're right.
You were meta before meta was popular, my friend.
There.
Yeah, it's really too much to wrap your mind around.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's all going to show up, we're going to have to figure out. Like you were just mentioning, it's a good point. People are going to focus on a few crews immediately because they're not going to have the knowledge or time or wherewithal to go through like 500 crews. We are a bit of an outlier because we have so many tanks, although I think most people watching this have a lot of tanks as well.
Yeah.
More than likely. So there's going to be a learning process, and they're trying to figure out what's what. People who have played a few tanks are going to have a bit of an advantage. So this gets down then to my ultimate issue with both this and the crew modifications, field modifications, is that it's increasing the ceiling, so you're going to increase the distance between an average player and a really good player. And I don't think this game needs that. This game has never really been about that. There's been a little I've said this in the past, and I think this has gone away largely over the last 3 or 4 years, but 4 or 5 years ago, the best thing about this game is you could get crew skills and put your equipment on and do consumables and some other things to help yourself along the way, but you really didn't get that much of an advantage. It was this was the advantage mostly.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's going away for things like this, dumbing down for MMO kind of ideas. With here's an example, and I said this a long time ago, and everybody poo-pooed me, and I'm going to tell them this right now. When they changed the consumables to cooldowns, that was part of this effing up that great part about the game. And people are like, oh, I love it, it's great, blah, blah. No, because it was cool that if you shot a guy in the track and he used his kit, you fucking knew he was done with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now we have this, this regeneration thing going on where you're not really sure. And what's going to happen here is it's going to be very difficult to know what that other tank has going on, and that was part of this. That was part of this battle, where you kind of knew reloads and what they had and what they didn't have, and you can make decisions based on that because you're going to be able to do these min-max things and change things so much. You're not going to know.
Yeah. That's a brilliant point, because part of the skill set of playing this game some years ago was the ability to understand that if the guy's used his repair kit, if he doesn't have crew skills that match the repair crew skills, then he's done. So you knew right then, and that made you play a lot more skillfully because you had to be careful with do I repair that track? Do I let the crew repair it and keep my repair kit for that biggie? You know, so there was skill involved in that. There was some thinking involved in that. Now it's it's almost shoot 'em up, baby.
But that's one of the first things that happened when the MMO guys started showing up.
Yeah.
Right? Those little changes, and people poo-pooed me back then, saying, "Well, you're making too big a deal of it." Well, not really, because this is how we got here, and I already saw that. The writing was on the wall when that started happening, and now we're at this crazy world of builds thing. I like that.
Oh yeah, I like that word.
Pig just said that, world of builds, where you're going to be hard pressed to really have a great idea. You'll have a vague idea because you understand what a medium does this and a heavy does this, and generally you may be familiar with that particular tank or that country's tank, but there's gonna be some wildly different capabilities comparatively to what we had in the past.
It's a difficult thing. I mean, here's an example. I played a battle a few years ago now, and I was face to face with a very good Mahau player, and I actually managed to beat him. And I got a message after game saying, "Hey, good game, well done, mate." Now that's because we had a skill battle against each other. It wasn't anything to do with how the game was set up. It's the fact that I for once outskilled Mahau.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And that made the game fantastic.
Yeah.
And now it becomes almost about, dare I say,
it's still there. I think it's still there, but it's definitely being watered down. And it's like Pig said, you can be spotted over 20 seconds now. Reloads and repair speeds are going to vary widely, and that difference is getting bigger and bigger as we move forward in the game. It used to be that pretty much everyone's tank was basically the same, and it was your skill that mattered. Now, and it also applies to overpowered tanks. You get the overpowered tanks. The reward tanks are particularly egregious in this area. Lady May, how you doing? Sorry, I missed you coming in. And it's just getting worse and worse. Now it's builds, and this is a very MMO kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I don't want to speak for the older crowd, but I'll be honest. I think I have my finger on the pulse pretty decently. I don't think a lot of those people want that shit.
No,
that's not the game they want.
No, this game is unique. I think almost unique in the world of gaming. It's almost unique. There are a few variants of this type of game out there, but I think this is the big one. Making it the same as everything else is just not for me. I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. I love this game because it is the chess game. It isn't the MMO. You know what I mean? I love it.
I mean, I just feel like, I'm with you. I just feel like they're walking away from what made it successful. Like, how do you not see that? Or do you, or is it a case of you don't care? You're trying to create something different for a younger generation, and you're willing to lose those older players that maybe it's too small of a audience. Except that you've been one of the top 10 games for the last 10 years.
Well,
I can't wrap my mind around it. It's bizarre.
It is bizarre because this setup, this game, this uniqueness of the game has won him the golden joystick 4 years running, and so on and so on. And for a game to last this long in the gaming community is almost unheard of. There are a few games out there that still has the longevity of this game, but I can't understand why you take a winning formula and change it, because it's got to be a financial decision. It's got to be. And I come back to my point earlier on that they've taken the percentages. What is the percentage of loss against the percentage of gain by doing this? And the gain outweighs the loss.
Well, they've got to have a projection. I'm sure that they don't do it. Somebody's convinced someone that obviously this is a good idea, and it's the future of the game.
Yeah,
because it does not feel like an iterative improvement of the old game.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, I think they've let a lot of that languish and not touched it while they've been churning out premiums.
Yeah,
and things like that. Where I think we'd be in a lot better position if they had iteratively improved the crew system and the crew system and the skills and perks along the way. There was so many cool things they could have done with that. Small little things to keep the bonuses small but interesting at the same time.
Yeah.
Change it up a little bit as you go so people can learn and be refreshed and all that. There might even have been a way to do some, small grind improvements or additions at the end of tanks that weren't such a giant thing. But like most things that you leave to languish with a large organization, once you get to a certain point, you feel the need to completely reorganize.
Yeah.
And that's where we are.
But as we've said before, I mean, it's a great discussion point. I think, and it's worthwhile to actually air this type of discussion. But the bottom line is, it's coming. And, okay, I get it's coming, but Wargaming, give us some information that is easy to understand on the whole thing. So if it is going to come, I can adapt my way of doing this game, playing this game, whatever.
Yeah.
Give me the information. I'll go forward with it and see where we are. Like they did with equipment. They gave us a lot of information about how the equipment was going to change.
I thought the equipment 2.0 was a great model for change.
Yeah.
It kept intact the old system and improved it. That gave me hope when equipment 2.0 came out. I'm like, wait a minute, maybe we're going to get some kind of improvement stuff, significant improvement, but it kept the old system. I didn't feel like that really overpowered anything.
No.
So I don't know, man.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, there is always interesting days ahead, isn't it? It's the old Chinese proverb, isn't it? May you live in interesting times. And I think with Wargaming, it is exactly that. It'll be interesting. So let's see how it pans out.
Yeah, I mean, Randall makes a good point. Older players have money, but they are running out of stuff to buy. That's true. And that's yeah. I mean, how many premium tanks can you possibly buy?
But they very much become the samey same. It's you can take you got the outliers like the Defender, but you can take most premiums, and they're very much samey same.
Right.
They are what they are. There's nothing special about the majority of the premium tanks. So once you bought one, I've stopped buying premium tanks unless something
Cliffy
really
says all of them.
Yeah, all of them.
I'm kind of with you on that, actually. To be quite honest,
Yeah,
absolutely. I do like having as many tanks as possible for some strange reason.
You are a collector, sir.
But I'm not against. Again, I'm not. It's not a case of I fear change, I hate change, I don't want change. That's not it either. I just don't want the game to become so min-maxy. Where you got the keeping up with the Joneses part, where you've got to get the 80 skill crew, and then you get the 3 vents on top of them by going past that and spending a bunch of silver and gold to get there just to be competitive. I don't know. I think in pubs it's not going to matter too much, but I mean, I'll tell you what. Let's just imagine you get that 3-man chieftain platoon who gets the rank 88 crews in there, all the field mods. I mean, that's going to be bad. It's already bad, but I mean, it could be worse, I guess.
That's a good point, Guido, that Grumpy Old Man's made. If Wargaming turned around and said, we make this a subscription game, you pay $15 a month and you have everything, but the grind is still there and all those sort of that. Is that an option? Rather than have this sort of money grab every time there's a change, just have a subscription service, and then the developers are free to develop the game in the way the players want it, without a financial sort of attachment to it.
Yeah,
that would be an interesting thing.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Do you know?
Isn't that what premium is?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Is premium also then it does get you extra credits and extra.
But that's cheaper than 15 a month. I mean, 15 a month is what math in public.
A lot.
Yeah, whatever that is.
$145 a year.
Right. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because I mean I don't particularly want to throw my credits or gold at things like that. I don't really want to do. I mean, I'd rather keep my credits for buying those tanks at tier 10 and all the rest of it, and I'd rather keep my gold for when I need to do changes with my crew or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sly,
see when it comes.
I don't know if that's true or not. It would be really interesting to talk to some of the insiders and say, did you actually how far along did you think about just improving the current system? As far as we know, public facing, I think your statement's true. It wasn't looked at as far as we know, at least not enough to mention it to the players and get feedback. Because the first thing we saw was the current system or the earlier iteration of it, because they've come back once. To their credit, they sort of worked on some of the stuff we had big arguments or big problems with, but not all of it.
Yeah.
So, crew field modifications. Let's. There's one thing I wanted to talk about on that actually, which is pretty good. Let me see if I can get. Where is my Chrome stuff? There we go. All right. So field modifications. One of the things they're running into. Let me find the article here, and I thought it was pretty funny actually. Let's see. Where is that? They're having an issue with. Where's that dumb thing? They're having an issue with potato computers. And what's happening is, one of the things that field modifications does is changes your setup. Right? So you can have different equipment with one slot, and the other, one does equipment and something else. One does consumables.
Yeah.
So you can have two different setups for two different maps, and now I'm not going to be able to find it naturally.
Well, you're allowed to set up two different configurations. It's a configuration change on the countdown prior to the game loading.
Oh man, I'm not going to be able to find the stupid article, am I? Here it is. Improved field modification. I found it. This is fantastic. All right, here we go. Oh man, hopefully you can see this. Let's see. So when making decisions about dual modifications, pay attention. No, that's not it. Where is it? Balance improvements, adjusted. Where did it go? Loading screen. Here it is. Finally found it. Previously, players with low-spec PCs might have experienced slower loading times and did not have enough time to select one of two vehicle loadouts before the battle starts. We are aware of this issue and have been developing a solution. You can now switch configurations right on the battle loading screen while evaluating the map team composition. To select one of the two vehicle loadouts, Control+1, Control+2, which is terrible.
Yeah, should be one button press.
Why wouldn't it be like number 7 or 8, like just one of the numbers of the things that we already?
It says not used, or an F number, F12.
No, we use what 4, 5, 6 or whatever for consumable stuff. Why not just whatever Control+1 or +2? Got it. What a pain in the ass. All right.
Yeah.
Why not a button on the screen? But anyway.
Well, yeah. Why not click the screen? Don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. So this is not the one I was looking for, but there was another blurb somewhere where it says, "Don't press the button multiple times. Just give it some time."
Yeah, I read that. Yeah, it will happen. Give it time, potato user. I think, and I'm doing the poor old RU server a disservice here, but I think it's generally around those servers that have lower spec systems. I think in the NA server, majority of people have got fairly decent systems, and same with the EU. I think it's probably geared towards more the RU server with their toasters.
Yeah,
that's a very narrow viewpoint, but yeah.
So for field modifications, I like the idea of the different setups, because that doesn't really that's not a buff. That's just a strategic choice based on map. I'm like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
This stuff though, where you add or minus points, is just ridiculous.
Yes.
Also, you tie it to tier, which means tier 10 see tier 8s, folks. I don't know what to tell them. So now the tier 10 is going to have more modifications available than the tier 8, as if the tier 10 needed more.
Yeah. Of course it does.
That makes no sense of any kind.
No.
It's ridiculous.
No.
Now,
it's just been the same across the whole of the range.
And to be fair, I don't know. An observation.
Yeah.
Some of these things just don't matter, and no one's going to ever use them.
There is that.
It goes back to my 5 things that matter.
Yeah.
If you're not buffing one of the 5 things that matter, let me find one. Yeah. Hull traverse -5, suspension -10, Effectiveness of maintaining speed when crossing all terrain types. +7 for heavy.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I don't know. And the question, of course, is they're not going to have any idea how well or how badly these things work until they get a lot of data. They're just chucking. They're just chucking numbers. They're just chucking numbers out.
That'll be 8 months, maybe a year down the line, before they have enough data to go, well, that didn't quite work, did it?
So aiming time -5, accuracy -3. I don't know why you would do that. I suppose maybe. So if you had a slow aiming tank that was already accurate, but this is not 0.3 dispersion. This is 3%. Can you even see that?
No.
Can you? Does that even change it? Say your accuracy is what are they, like a 3.7? Will 3% even knock it down to 3.6, or make it 3.8?
Well, it makes it completely erroneous because you've got RNG. So whether it's slightly more accurate or not won't make any difference, because RNG will dictate whether that actually goes where.
Well, I mean, you get a better baseline. So maybe
the baseline will be slightly better, but you won't even notice it. Surely you won't. Not 3% anyway.
Well, I guess my question is, if I'm at 0.37 accuracy, does it no kidding take it to 3.4? Is that what it would do? I mean, I'm going the wrong way on that one, but you understand what I'm saying. If it's 0.37, does it go to 0.40? Is that are those numbers right? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'd have to look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, some of the stuff in chat is amazing at the moment. You know.
And why does it say 3%? Why doesn't it say just give you the plus or minus based on the number they show you in game, so you have some kind of frickin' understanding of what it's doing?
Yeah. I don't know.
You know, view range +3, shot stun duration +10, additional stun duration +15. I don't even know what the hell that means. Stun duration +10, additional stun duration +15. So to get 3% more view range, whatever that means.
Yeah.
I mean, at least that's a number, right? Because if you got a 500 view range, 3% is actually significant.
That'll be another X amount of meters. Yeah.
Although what's not spelled out is 3% of what? The base? The total? Because you have other bonuses. I don't know. Is it stack? I don't know.
Exactly what happens when you've got all the crew skills applied to it, and etc. etc. Where do you get the figures from? It's got to be base. It's the only thing you can use. Consistent.
So I get 3% more view range, which is fairly significant, and my negatives are things that probably nobody cares about. Yeah, being stunned a little more sucks, but I mean, it's...
Yeah.
Oh, you mean I can get way better, significant view range bonus by getting stunned a little more? Sign me up. You know what I mean? There's no negative, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
Here's the better... So here's an even better one, and I'm not showing everybody this. Every time I click on one of these, I'm cracking up. This one's... On this one, you can lose view range and get better stun. Nobody's ever going to use that.
No.
Ever.
That's
one of the big five. View is one of the big five. Stun duration is not even 47.
It's there, isn't it? It's somewhere on
nobody's going to ever take a view range debuff just to be stunned less. Okay, no. I don't know. Maybe your mouse does. I guess.
5 heavy, possibly.
I don't know.
I don't know. Would you? No, probably not. I wouldn't even consider it. It'd be too much effort to go in and work it out just to do it for a Type 5 heavy, to be honest.
See, now here's an interesting one where maybe you do. You know, when you make statements like I do, sometimes you're wrong, obviously, because you make big blanket statements. Maybe you do, except on your mouths, -2 kilometers an hour, ultraverse -5, to get HE damage negative, stun negative, and protection +20. That actually seems...
Well, that makes more sense. Now you've included all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
You know, because there's quite a lot in that, actually.
Now here's one you're probably not going to take on your heavy. 2 kilometers an hour, ultraverse. Now you're going to take more HE damage and be stunned more and lose more crew.
Oh,
That would
I
be
don't.
that's a little tough for just plus 2 kilometers an hour. At least the
Yeah,
plus 2 kilometers an hour is a number that makes sense because it's
yeah,
I
yeah,
get
yeah,
it. You know,
yeah,
my top speed's 50. I get two more, 52. That's I can do that now.
yeah.
That makes sense
Yeah,
to me.
the math's fine, but the actual application of that particular benefit is
Yeah,
complete and utter rubbish, isn't it? Yeah, I can do
traverse
2 kilometers quicker to get to my death. Thank you.
-5 to turret traverse, +5 to dispersion to get myself 30% internal modules durability and repair speed +5. Well, maybe.
Hmm.
And then the opposite of that. So it's interesting. When you get to the tier 10, you can pick. Let me just do a blind. I'm just going to pick randomly these things. So you've got 5 of these bad boys to pick, right? And holy
Yeah.
cow, look at this list of buffs and debuffs. I mean, there's certainly a lot of build possibilities in here, and you'd have to go through it based on different tanks. And I know that Dez and some of the other guys have made some pretty interesting videos on just some of the outlier tanks, how high or they can get their camo, and some other things like that. But that's a lot of buffs and debuffs. It would be hard to make a lot of sense of these things.
I think you become intuitive about it. I don't think, well, unless you very seriously want to sort of dig into it, I think you just think, well, what's worked for me in the past, what looks good for me, I'll just pick it there and then. I don't think I'll spend time researching it to any great depth. I think there'll be people who do that, and that's fine. And there may be streamers who do that, and that'll be information that's useful. But I think it'll be intuitive at the time. You'll think, yeah, I'll try that, see what it looks like, see what it does.
I don't know what the cost is. There's a cost. Let's see. Listen to your concern to cost increasing when purchasing dual modifications across. Now, depending on the vehicle tier, costs will be different with the lowest ones for tier 6. So you got to buy each one of these.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know how that works, man. To be quite honest, I haven't paid that close attention. So you have to buy each one of those, huh?
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Is that every battle, or is that just per tank, and then you've got it? That I don't know. XP required. So there's XP required to unlock it. And then there's... How does this work? 8, 7, 8. 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. I don't know, man, because there's a difference between 1, 3, 5, and 3, 6. There's a difference between the things that allow you to have different loadouts. Of course, then there's special modification 6, which lets you have a second special slot.
Right.
Which may be one of the more... That's probably, to me, one of the more valuable things. If you can get a second specific slot and get a bonus on a piece of equipment, that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that idea. I like that idea. I've always said there's a need for an extra slot, always. Because it gives you the option. It gives you the choice that you don't have. You're sort of stuck with the standard meta options, but if you get an extra one, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good points in chat, actually. Good points.
What's Cliffy say? I don't buy the CCs now. Best thing.
No, they're talking about Des Quickie and Skill. They're sort of going. They know what's going on, but Wargaming are not listening. But I mean, CCs are probably no more influential than the average player in that respect when it comes to the business side. You know.
Well, Wargaming does have to respond to some of the bigger ones when they go really high order on them. Reference Skill and I think Quickie Babies. You know, you sort of have to because they've got such big audiences. You at least have to make an effort, I guess.
Or at least contact them and discuss it with them, perhaps. I don't know. You know.
Yeah, I mean, they let Skill do that big.
Yeah, he put it out, didn't he? He had a good old chat about it.
Well, and he did a what's the word I'm looking for?
Rant.
No, God bless. Old guy. Guy.
That thing.
You know, the questionnaire, whatever that thing's called.
Survey.
Survey.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see, I'm old. I got that.
He did a big survey, and they're going to have to address it. Whether they actually change anything or do anything is another question.
No, it's just information incoming. I mean, like any organisation, the more information that comes in, the more I guess the more you understand your own player base. But whether they do anything with that, that again, it comes to the financial bottom line. Whatever the decision-making process to improve this game or make this game the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's great that developers want to make this and do this, and they're all fired up and they want this. But there's some bespectacled, suited geezer in the back room with his calculator going, yeah, that ain't happening because of this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There will be somebody.
As they like to say, it's a big ecosystem. So there's more than.
Yeah.
And if the point was made on the forums, and it's obvious that we are the engaged group. Us, the 30 or so watching this, and you and I, the 60 or 70 who watch it on YouTube, are the engaged players and may not be representative of the whole. Although I think that's making a little too simplistic. I think we are pretty close to the standard, at least in demographic, if not in amount of games played and money spent.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. And Wayne, we are special. We're very special. But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Is that we are a selection of the whole of the player base, albeit a small sample size. But I do think that the views that we hold are not a million miles away from the majority of the players, because we are that involved in the game. We don't just dip into this game. I dip into DayZ. I have no interest in going on the forums. I have no interest in discussing it with anybody. I dip into DayZ and play it. Right. World of Tanks is different. I have a personal vested interest in playing this game.
But plenty of people play it the way you play DayZ. They just roll in, they play, and they go on. We have to be realistic about it. Absolutely. In fact, when I say plenty, it's probably obviously the majority. That's any game that's out there. We just happen to be the grognards who are really into all the basic stuff. I don't think it's going to end the game. Cliffy mentioned the IS-3A, the tank that destroyed the game.
Yeah.
It will go on. It's going to be really interesting to watch what happens. We've had these discussions in the past, and there's been forum angst and things, and the server population's going to just be destroyed, and this, that, and the other. It's been sort of on a slight downward to leveling off kind of thing for years now. Yeah. We'll find out, man. 6 months from now, we'll tell the tale. If by Christmas you and I are just sitting here happily driving along and the server pop is the same, or maybe it's better. I don't know. Maybe they're onto something. Yeah. Maybe they add 20 more people or whatever.
Which is quite big for the NA server.
Yeah.
Another 20 people in there.
And maybe 22 if we get crazy, That's...
Yeah, if we get mad, it could be.
Yep. Top projections are 27 and a half.
Wayne's got a Masonic theory about this. Look at him with his eyes.
Oh, yeah, the Illuminati. The Illuminati are coming at us.
Oh, dear. Do it's going to happen? We can discuss this to the end of the world, and it's great that we actually have this ability and this opportunity to put it out there and discuss it.
Yeah.
And like everything else, I will still be playing this game this time next year.
If they weren't doing this, you and I we'd have been done 30 minutes ago.
We would have been.
Yeah, I could have made my third cup of coffee. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you people, crying about a game. First world problems, baby. First world. Hey, what the hell happened to recon mode?
I don't know. Do you know?
I asked the Wargaming folks. I haven't got an answer yet. Obviously, there was the issue
They're calling it topography mode.
Oh, has it changed?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're saying that the single player mode, topography mode, is now going to be part. It's in the common test now.
Oh, so basically, what did they figure out that they weren't able to bring everybody in to do regular games on them, so they're going to let you just drive around maps? Is that what you think happened? Yeah, I asked the question. I haven't had an answer.
Right. Okay. There is a spotting mechanic in there where you will be spotted by enemy tanks to give you the ability to work out positional play and all the rest of it. So there'll be...
Well, that's useless because they'll just... whatever. That'll be randomly positioned tanks or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, they may be in the same place every time. And you go, yeah, I know they're there.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, they're calling it topography now. I don't know what that means.
mean, it's nice. We've been asking for the ability to go into maps solo without doing training rooms forever. So good on them. That's
Yeah.
fine. But I was more interested in the recon mode where we could play new
What about
maps.
the recon mode? I don't know.
We
I
could
don't
play
know
new
that.
maps and kind of get an idea and give them feedback. But that seems to be at the moment a dead letter.
That's
I don't
to
know.
death. I haven't seen that at all.
I think they are different, Cliffy.
Are they? Right. Okay.
What I was saying is, have they shit canned? Have they crap canned recon, and now they're just going to do topography because for some reason they can't do recon? I mean, it was released in, was it last patch?
Yeah, it was.
And then turned off real quickly and taken
Almost
out.
the day after. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was taken out right after because apparently the preferential tanks were causing problems, which I don't know why that would be an issue. You know, if you bring your pref into it, so what?
Yeah.
But I don't know. We are getting one of those new maps, though. We are getting
We're getting
Safe Haven. Yeah,
Yeah. Which has got lots of water on it, as we've discussed.
good for
'Cause it's a
drowning,
harbour
for
map.
artillery. Good for
Good
drowning.
for artillery. They've got more than one place now they can drive in.
It's a
off-
1,000 by 1,000 map
It's huge.
with fully 1/4 to 1/3 of it is water and useless.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, and then there's a built-up area and a field area, because that's all new to maps.
Well, the worst part for me is the tunnels.
It's a, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
also
want
trees.
tunnels. The
No.
map, the camera does not work in tunnels.
And they got those factories you can drive through and hide behind factory walls and things.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? And the containers. It's going to be a bit of a interesting. I quite like the idea. Really, I'm interested in getting in it and see what it's like.
Yeah.
I don't want to knock it before it's out there, and maybe I should get myself onto Sandbox or something. But I'm quite interested in having it there and just seeing what it's like, because I'd be
Yeah.
quite interested to see that if a wall or a container will protect me from being spotted. Like that mouse we had yesterday. That mouse that was being such a pain in the backside. Remember him?
Yeah.
I was in the,
Oh yeah, with the Manicore. Yeah.
He hid behind a building, which stopped him being spotted.
Yeah.
Or between two buildings. Amazing.
Yeah, Sly, I don't know if they've worked on the camera, if they're just going to make the tunnels and you have to fight the camera while you're playing. That's my issue with the tunnels, is the camera's so wonky. I don't know if they've added some kind of code to try to fix that or change it. We'll see. I don't know. Well,
She makes a good point. Don't worry about Recon. Recon 2.0 is coming. It'll be worse than Recon. Brilliant. Yeah.
they're going to figure out how to make something worse that they never released.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that's not true. They released it for 6 hours. Somebody did note.
They did, yes.
They did. It was out for 6 hours. So,
Yeah.
sorry if you didn't get to play it. That's your fault.
Yeah, you weren't around.
Yeah, if the ceiling is high enough, they need to. Well, I guess it does actually physically stop you from zooming out too much when
I was
you're
going to say,
inside
if you
things.
zoom out, you won't see your tank anymore. You'll just see the top of the building.
Well, it already does that, I think. If you go into the tunnels on Craftworks, you can't zoom out of the tunnel. So it is.
Right.
As far as that goes, the camera will only go to the top of whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's different. So if you're used to doing certain things and looking around, you have to change the way you do it when you're in the tunnels. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Could just be a mechanical process as each person figures out how to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's about it, guys. We've been at it for 2 hours here, I think. So
We
we're
have.
going to wrap it up. Unless anyone's got any last minute questions. Pilgrim, you got anything else that we didn't touch on?
I've got one thing which is now going to make me go bright red and be very embarrassed about the whole game.
Uh-oh.
By the way, there isn't a competition this week, purely because I was so bloody lazy. I didn't sit down and do any research. Sorry, guys, but I promise you there will be a competition next week for the 500 gold.
Cool.
However, come back to the embarrassing point. I've only just figured out less than 4 days ago
Uh-huh.
that when you fit bounty equipment, you can actually upgrade that by using credits. I sat there about 4 days ago and I was going, oh, what's this upgrade stuff? And I looked at it, I thought, oh, I've got to pay you 3 million credits to get it up. So I've had all this bounty equipment thinking it's pretty shit, this bounty equipment. It doesn't really do what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
And you can upgrade it using credits. I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So now I'm trying to save up enough credits to upgrade all the bounty equipment.
So that's actually a great kind of segue back, or a circle back, as they say. I think we're going to find a lot of that with the new Crew 2.0. People are going to, and field mods. There's going to be stuff they're just not even going to know is in there until a long time from now.
Exactly.
You know, as people try to figure it out, especially the casual players. They'll be like, I don't know what that is. Let me just play without it. You know, trying to figure it out. Somebody asked when I'm going to be
streaming next when you're on next week.
Monday, Randall. I plan on tomorrow. Maybe a few others. We have a really light week, and we've gone back to being silly about the Delta and freaking out. Because I work for the government, then we're in full high PRF. We're freaking out. So I may have some extra time as the long short there, but I plan on doing it tomorrow. Probably 10 or 11 for a couple, 3 hours, and then I will do the stack up as well. So that's it, man.
We're just getting some feedback from the bounty equipment, which is making me giggle. Sorry. Yeah. Bounty cup holders don't do what they.
Well, all the British tanks are much like the Tier 9 reward tanks. They have a permanent tea and black pudding maker.
Yeah, it's called a BV, a boiling vessel.
And it makes the black pudding.
It doesn't do anything with pudding. We don't have pudding with tea. Bloody colonial.
I had a really good scone in Utah, but
Cool.
you'd be horrified because it's nothing like the scone. It's basically a deep fried.
No.
Oh yeah, it's
Gosh,
basically
no.
it's like a giant flat donut.
No.
Yeah,
No.
and they call it a scone, and you put sweet butter on it.
No. I'm going to seriously educate you next time you come over here. I'm seriously dragging your backside to the Queen's shop to have some.
I know what a proper scone is, with clotted cream and raspberry or whatever the jelly shit's called. It's quite good. Quite good.
There.
All right, guys, this is it for us. We're heading out. I'll go ahead and get this uploaded for the YouTube folks. Thanks for coming by. Much appreciated. It's Guido signing off from the left side of the Atlantic.
And it's Pilgrim signing off from the correct side of the Atlantic.
See you guys.